Let's pay homage to the Buddha, fully enlightened one. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yesterday, we are talking about the death of relatives of the Buddha. When people heard about that terrible revenge killing, they uttered with grief and disbelief. What did they utter? The karma that the relatives of the Buddha had accumulated when Vidaduba was 16 was just minor. What the king has done is very terrible and excessive. It should not be such. It should not be such, they uttered. When the Buddha heard their utterance, the Buddha said, karma that my relative did in this present life is very minor, but it is not because of that karma that they have been destroyed. In one of their existences in the past, they lived in one of the villages. Those villagers are making living by catching fish. So one day they all agree to poison the water body to destroy water creatures. Now in that life, that karma ripened. That unwholesome act has now made someone appear to perform the act of killing them. So the present killing is a result of that past karma. That karma has opened the door to give its results. Because of this reason, Buddha recites one stanza in the Dhammavada. The evil he himself has done, born of himself, and produced by himself, grinds him as a diamond grinds a hard jam. So based on this understanding, based on this story, we can understand law of karma. Nothing happens without causes. So in the year 2004, what they call killer wave, tsunami, very, very terrible wave. It killed many people. Many people died in that killer wave. So many people, many their relatives, cry, mourn, lament. So very sad. We can understand those who have been destroyed by the killer wave are those whose karma ripened. So recently also, the very strong cyclone hit our country, especially the capital of Myanmar, Yangon city. So I heard 16 villages with all villagers were swept away in the huge wave by the storm. The storm hit night time, maybe the time they are sleeping. So they are swept away by the storm and by the very huge wave caused by the storm. The third portion of dead persons are children, I heard. The third of four. Now I also heard the news. So number of dead person is 100,000. So we may think it is very colossal tragedy. But if we think about the teaching of the Buddha and law of karma, they die because their karma ripened. So relatives of the Buddha was killed by the king Vidaduba because their karma ripened. In their previous life, they all agreed to throw poison in the water body to destroy water creatures. Our Buddha, he tried 3 times to protect his relatives. But at 4th time, seeing the karma that ripened with his Buddha's knowledge, that he gave up trying. So when karma ripens, nobody can protect. Even the Buddha could not do anything. So after very strong cyclone hit Myanmar, very recently in China, very worse earthquake happened again. I heard now many people died, at least I think 20,000 people died in the earthquake, what happened in China. So I also see the earthquake pictures, what I saw. A mother mourns near the body of her child, and other school children who were killed in a school building collapsed during an earthquake. Very strange. Those die in the China. Also, most of the dead people are children, schoolboys. Many are buried in the debris of the collapsed building. So one of the laywomen tried to enter a collapsed school building. So one of the soldiers is holding that laywoman because her son was dying in the building. So why I am talking about this? If we have existences, one day we have to cry, we have to mourn, we have to lament, we have to be sad because of the death of our relatives. So when the karma ripens, so we all have to die one day. Some die because of the expiration of their lifespan. Some die because of the expiration of their karma. Some die because of these two. Some because of destructive karma. So people of Myanmar and people of China die. When they are very young, it is because of their destructive karma. So, according to the Buddha, it is because of their past karma that they die young. So, parents, they protect their sons, their daughters, adults, elders protect their younger. So governments protect for their populations. Soldiers protect their people. Is it real protection? No. Nobody protects us. So in the beginning of this talk, I have quoted the words of the King Fasility of Kosala. He told his thought to the Buddha. Buddha, why I was alone in seclusion. This question arose in my mind. Who protect themselves and who lead themselves unprotected? Then it occurred to the mind of the king vicinity. Those who engage in misconduct with the body, misconduct in speech and misconduct in the mind, do lead themselves unprotected. Even though a company of element troops, even though a company of soldiers who fight on horseback, even though a company of soldiers who fight on chariots, even though a company of soldiers who fight on foot may protect them, still they leave themselves unprotected. Now, so you heard, the relatives of the Buddha died because of their past karma. They agreed to poison water creatures. They agreed to poison the water body to destroy the water creatures. Now we can see they engage in misconduct with the body. They engage in misconduct in the mind. If they have accumulated bodily and wholesome karma, verbally and wholesome karma, mentally and wholesome karma, they cannot protect themselves and no one can protect them. Now also, people of Myanmar, children of Myanmar, children of China, who can protect them? Nobody can protect them. Only one thing they can do when they see the death of their sons, daughters, relatives, what they can do? They mourn, they cry, they feel sad. Because of this reason, in the Dhammampada Buddha said, parents are not protection of the, not protection, protectors for the sons and daughters. Also, sons and daughters are not the protector for the parents. Nobody and any association, any member, any government, any soldiers can't protect us when the karma ripens. Only the karma that we have accumulated, if it is wholesome karma, bodily wholesome, hourly wholesome, mentally wholesome karma, it will protect us from experiencing undesirable things. Because of this reason, we all need to be very heedful of our daily life actions, bodily, verbal, mental actions. Whatever we are going to speak, whatever we are going to act, before speaking, before acting, we should mindfully consider, is it beneficial for me and others, or is it for the suffering of me and others or not? After we have accumulated wholesome or unwholesome karma, one day it will give its result. We can't withdraw. So, because of this reason, we need to try to be skillful reading the habits of our own mind, the mind which is all the time instructing us to do something bodily, verbally. When we try to know the habits of our own mind, and when we know that our mind is not usually with much desire for the belongings of others, and when we know that our mind is our mind is without much thoughts of ill will, our mind is usually free of sloth and torpor, and our mind is free of restlessness, free of doubt, and without much anger. In short, if our mind is not with much greed, hatred, delusion, pride, jealousy, stinginess, so Buddha suggests we should not be satisfied. Buddha said we should put in more effort to establish those very skillful qualities to a higher degree for the eventual ending of all things. How can we establish these skillful qualities to a higher degree? How can we establish these skillful qualities to a higher degree? Firstly, we must keep sila and abstain from the unwise acts of killing, stealing, committing sexual misconduct, telling lies, and consuming drugs and alcohol. By keeping sila, we purify our bodily and verbal actions and protect ourselves from the results of those unwholesome actions. So, bodily and verbal actions. So, these two actions can be purified practicing the training of morality, sila. If we can't make the purity of bodily and verbal actions, like relatives of the Buddha and children of Myanmar and China, one day, if bodily and verbal bad actions ripens, we have to suffer in the future. Our unwholesome karma leaves ourselves unprotected. Whatever we have done in our past, whatever we have accumulated in this present life in the past, we don't need to feel sorry for it because we have done already. Because we have done both wholesome and unwholesome deeds in our past. If they give its result in the future, we have to accept. We can't avoid them. In our country, there is one well-known sayadaw. He said, there is no mistakes, only lessons. When we have done something wrong, if we think it as mistake, we feel very sorry, we feel unhappy, we feel guilty. We can't do what we should do. We waste a lot of our time thinking about that and wholesome deeds that done. Even we have done something wrong, please don't think as mistake. Just take as a lesson. How to take as a lesson? We have done. Yeah? So in my life, I will not do such things again. So this is taking as a lesson. If we can take as a lesson, we improve. If we think as a mistake, we as if we are accumulating again and again, wasting a lot of time. Men are those who can't avoid doing mistake. But after doing something wrong, and those who can take as a lessons, they improve their life and they become more mature day by day. Also, we can live our life more meaningfully. We can live our life by doing many good things because of taking as a lesson. There may be many people in the world thinking something they have done wrong, feeling guilty of it, cannot do anything more, wasting their life. We should live at the present. Most people live not at the present, live with the past, live for the future. You live at the present. How many people live at the present? Even you are meditating. Your mind is not on the Anapana meditation object. Your mind is thinking about your past. Even you are meditating, you are planning for your future. Okay? Most people don't live at the present. How? We all are not practical. We say, if we can experience practically, only then we believe. We say we are very practical persons. Those who are thinking about the past and those who are planning for the future, how can we call we are very practical persons? Okay? Do you agree? So we must live at the present. Whatever you have done in the past, don't be guilty for it, because it is only in the past. Let yourself to be a newly born person every day. You can live your life more beautifully. Don't plan too much for the future, just focus in and out breath. Do you agree? If you want to improve your life, just live with the in and out breath. Okay, now by practicing Sila, we can purify our bodily and verbal actions, that we protect ourselves. Secondly, we need to purify our mental action. This is by practicing samatha meditation. So by developing samatha, by practicing samatha meditation, we can develop deep concentration. Here too, if you try continuously, there may be those who can attain jhana concentration. At Pa-Auk Forest Monastery in Myanmar, there are also many meditators who are entering absorption concentration. Why they can develop concentrations and why they can enter? Because they spend long time practicing meditation. Why do they practice? Because they want to penetrate the Dharma and they want a life of true security. Entering absorption concentration is to make the purity of mind. If meditator, he or she can enter for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So at that time, their focusing is mainly on the meditation object, that their mind becomes very pure at that time. As a result, latent defilements are unable to rise to the surface of the mind. They remain in the stage of dormancy. Since they don't reach the stage of obsession, they are unable to progress to the stage of transgression. By practicing samatha meditation and by entering strong absorption concentration, the mind is temporarily purified of unwholesome mental actions. So let me summarize the first 2 trainings. By keeping Sila, we protect ourselves from performing bodily and verbal wrong actions. By practicing absorption concentration, we protect ourselves from performing wrong mental actions. However, lying at the base of our mental continuum, there are still defilements in the state of dormancy. Given suitable conditions, these defilements, these latent defilements, quickly rise to the surface of the mind, unless they have already been eradicated. Think about the example of Viddupa. After he heard the news concerning the washing of his feet, his dormant defilements of anger and hatred rapidly arose as obsessions, and then quickly turned into transgressions. This led to an resulted in the violent slaughter of his relatives, which in turn generate new defying karma that he paid for just as quickly. As he was returning to Kosala after the slaughter, he and many of his men perished in a great flood, while camped on the banks of the river Asiravati. Who killed? Their karma killed them. Here one thing I want to tell you. Even you don't know the ultimate mentality yet, but I want all of you to know how can they function. Whenever we do wholesome or unwholesome actions, mental process arises. In each mental process, generally there will be 7 mind movements. We call 7 Javana mind movement, 7 impulsion mind movement. Understand? 7 mind movement. Huh? This is the first mind movement. When you do unwholesome karma, what happens in your mind? Sometimes very strong feeling arose, anger or very unsatisfied feeling. So at that time, these mind movements are arising and perishing again and again, many, many times. The stronger the feeling, the stronger the feeling, the stronger the process of, the stronger the power of this mind movement. First mind movement, it can give its result at this present life only. So among 7, the first one can give its result if it is very strong and powerful in this very life. Now the king Vidudaba, he killed the relatives of the Buddha. Even the relatives of Buddha had poisoned the water body to kill water creatures in the past. In this very life, they are very pure, they are very virtuous person. So, the time the king Vidudaba went to kill them, they don't react anything because they are virtuous. They don't kill others. So, if someone kills someone who is very virtuous, that karma becomes very, very strong. Because of this reason, the first mind movement gives its result very rapidly. The time he returned to his country, so they camped on the banks of the river. At that time, in the night, a great flood swept them away. So among 7, the first can give its result in this very life. The 7th mind movement can give its result subsequent life. Between 1st and 7th, there are 5 mind movements. They can give their results until before we attain final nibbana. If the first mind movement can't give its result, it becomes less karma. If the 7th mind movement can't give its result in the subsequent life, also it becomes white karma. It is according to the Buddha's Abhidhamma. That's why today if you are angry with someone, so it will give its result at least. If it is not very powerful one, it will not give in this very life. Maybe in the coming future subsequent life, or before you attain Nibbana along with samsara. How to protect yourself? Okay? Very difficult. Don't go back home. Okay? Okay? So you may accumulate many unwholesome karma if you go back home. Please ask Xiaoling Sunin, can we live here the whole life? But we can't live. Okay, so now you know how to purify your bodily and verbal actions. It is by practicing sila, and how to purify your mental actions by practicing concentration. Now you are heart. On the way returning to the Kosala, the Vidaduba and his men perished in the great floods. According to the Buddha said, two arrows follow all beings. One is wholesome and the other unwholesome. These are arrows of the past. When we perform unwholesome actions in the present life, such unwholesome actions can cause the results of our past unwholesome karma to ripen. For a minor transgression, we may end up paying a big price. Conversely, when we perform wholesome actions in the present life, such wholesome actions can cause the results of our past wholesome karma to ripen. Thus, for a single good action, we may reap great benefits. If Vidudaba had been mindful and practiced wise attention, he would have been able to keep the defilements of anger and hatred from rising to the surface of the mind. And he would not have gone on to slaughter his relatives. Moreover, he and many of his men would not have been drowned. Now we know how latent defilements rise to the surface of the mind and become transgressions. We also know how to protect ourselves from these transgressions. However, I have not yet explained how to eradicate latent defilements. If we want to eradicate these defilements, we must go on to the third training, the practice of insight meditation. There are two basic ways to approach insight meditation. One is to develop absorption concentration through mindfulness of breathing or other samatha meditation. So after developing up to absorption concentration, and we go on to four elements meditation for insight meditation. This is one way. So another way or other approach for those who wish to take a more direct road to the practice of vipassana is to begin with four elements meditation. I want to make all of you clear. I want to make you all understand more clearly. There are two types of meditators at the Buddha time. One who practice vipassana based on absorption concentration, another who practice vipassana meditation directly. According to the Buddha, those who want to practice directly vipassana, they must start with four elements meditation. Those who want to practice vipassana, only after developing absorption jhana concentration, they need to practice samatha meditation first. Suppose if you are the one who want to practice vipassana directly, you must first analyze or discern four elements in your body. When concentration improves, your body emits light, gradually from grey to white light. If you continue discern four elements in that grey or white light in your body, it will change into very bright light. At that time you don't see your body, you just see a block of bright light. If you continue discern four elements in that block of light, finally it will break down into very tiny small particles which are rapidly arising and perishing all the time. To make you understand how particles look like in your home, sometimes you may watch television program. Before television program starts, if you switch on the TV, you see very, very tiny, small dots on the TV screen. Is it big or small? Small. Now Buddha said, if you discern 4 elements in the block of life, finally your body has been broken down into small particles. The spots you see on the TV screen, even you say it is small, but you can see with your naked eyes. The particles that you are going to see in your body when you practice 4 elements systematically, it is very, 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 very small. You can't see with your naked eyes. You can see only with your concentration. Now you see your body as your body. When you see small particles, you don't see your body, you just see your body as small particles. Our Buddha said the whole world, living things or non-living things, are made up of these small particles. Only when you see this practically with your insight knowledge, so you will believe the teaching of the Buddha. So in each small particles, there are 8, 9 or 10 types of materiality, which are ultimate reality. Seeing the small particles is seeing the smallest concept only, not yet ultimate reality. Only when we can analyze the ultimate reality that present in small particles, we know the ultimate truth. So Buddha instructed us to discern ultimate materiality internally, externally. If you are the one who could see the small particles internally and who can analyze ultimate materiality internally, if you discern 4 elements to the external person and all the external things, living and non-living, you also see just small particles as you saw in your internal body. My disciples at Pa-Auk, foreigners, they reported, when they can practice internally, externally, ultimate materiality, one day everything becomes the same. Internally, I see just small particles which are arising and perishing rapidly. Externally, also just arising and perishing. Nothing is different. Everything becomes the same. If you discern 4 elements the table, you see small particles. If you discern 4 elements the bedding, you see small particles. If you discern 4 elements your sons, you see small particles only. Buddha said there is no man, there is no woman, there is no sons, there is no daughter, there is no cars, there is no table, there is no mountain. There is only ultimate materiality. Only when you practically experience, penetrate them, you agree the Buddha. Your faith on Buddha becomes strong. Don't you want to see? I want to see Bande, but I want to go back home too. Okay? How to do 2 things together? Going home is one way, seeing small particles is another. Okay, you must decide by yourself. You must decide by yourself. If you want to see the truth, you must continue practice meditation. If you just want to see your daughter, your sister, your sons, you can go home. So after realizing the ultimate materiality, we must continue ultimate mentality. As I have explained partially, mind arises in a form of mental process. Where does the mind arise? Buddha said, not in brain, only in your heart. Do you agree? I will tell you. When you feel very sad, what did you feel in your heart? Okay, here. When you feel happy also you feel here, not in your brain. When you can practice ultimate materiality, you can analyze by yourself. There is no mind in your brain. There is only small particles here. Only the mind is in your heart. I say in your heart is just to make you understand. Now I will say more deeply. Mentality arises based on heart-based materiality. So, to understand mentality, first you must understand ultimate materiality. Only after we know and see ultimate materiality thoroughly, at the time we are ready to practice ultimate mentality. And it is very deep and profound, but those who develop concentration, Buddha said, will know and see as they really are. But for those who don't develop concentration, it is impossible for them to see such deep and profound Dhamma. After knowing and seeing the ultimate mentality and materiality, we must go on to practice dependent origination in order to know and see cause and effect. We must know the causes of this present life. You are born as man, you are born as woman. I was born as man. So the result, the effect, it is different because of the different causes. Buddha instructs to practice, to know and see cause and effect. Buddha said, the one who has developed concentration will know and see the cause and effect. So when you know ultimate mentality, materiality, cause and their effects, at the time you can contemplate impermanence and nature, suffering, dukkha, non-self, anatta on ultimate mentality, materiality, cause and their effects, which are arising and perishing rapidly all the time. Buddha instructs us to contemplate nature, dukkha, anatta on ultimate mentality, materiality, cause and their effects, internally, externally, past, present, future too. By doing so, one day our insight knowledge matures. At that time, path knowledge will arise. We see Nibbana at that time. In Nibbana, mentality, materiality cease. Nibbana is where there is no arising and perishing of ultimate mentality, materiality. With the arising of path knowledge, defilements are eradicated step by step. With the first path, we attain the first fruit of enlightenment as Sotapanna. With this attainment, the defilements of self-identity, doubt, and attachment to rites and rituals are eradicated. When the path knowledge eradicates self-identity, you will know, you will see the workings of defilements clearly. We no longer see greed as my greed, hatred as my hatred. We no longer harm ourselves by consciously performing wrong physical and bowel actions which can lead to rebirth in the four woeful flames. If you attain Sotapanna, you protect yourself from falling to the four woeful states. Is it not important to protect yourself from falling to the four woeful states? Okay, you must try. If you want a life of true security, you must practice the three trainings, the training of morality, the training of concentration, and the training of insight, step by step. When our insight matures, the first part intrusion will arise. With this attainment, we protect ourselves from performing countless wrong physical and verbal actions. Do you understand it? Ordinary persons, they perform wrong actions very, very much. When someone becomes Sotapanna, he protects himself from performing countless wrong physical and verbal actions. If you don't think anger is my anger, if you don't think pride is my pride, if you don't think jealousy is not my jealousy, so you will not respond the way you did before. Sotapanna has greed, hatred, pride. His greed, his pride, his anger cannot make him fall to the four realms because of having no self-identity at all. He attained right view. He removed wrong view as I, mine. Now I would like to ask you one final question. How much effort are you willing to put into your practice? How much? 10 days, 1 day? No? And according to the Buddha, just as a person whose head is on fire will put forth extra determination, effort, diligence, etc. to put out the fire on his head. So should a bhikkhu put effort, put forth extra determination, effort to abandon and wholesome and skillful qualities in the mind. Here the Buddha is describing right effort. Without right effort, how can we expect to attain our goal? If we fail to achieve our objective in this lifetime, then we may one day deeply regret that we did not put forth the effort when we had the opportunity. May each of us put forth the necessary effort and may we rouse the energy to make an end of suffering. When Arhat path and fruition arise, all our defilements are destroyed without remainder, and rebirth comes to an end. There will be peace. Only then does our life become a life of true security. If you have stayed body, there will be some danger. If there is birth, there will be suffering. If there is no birth, so rebirth, if rebirth comes to an end, so there will be no suffering. Only when we can eradicate all the defilements, we become a person who is free from all suffering. Our life will become a life of true security. Will we all transform our lives into lives of true security? May each and every one of us attain Nibbana, the deathless.